I'm throwing away $5,000 to spite my ex-husband and make him homeless. Am I the asshole? This is a submission from our beautiful community, r/okopshow on Reddit.
Yes.
So first, let me start off by saying I was a complete naive idiot, which I learned the hard way.
Yeah, we love learning the hard way.
I met my ex who was Scottish, fell in love, moved there, got married, and he turned into a complete douche canoe, to put it lightly.
Douche
canoe. It's so
That's
good.
amazing.
We'd be long distance for about 7 years, engaged for 5 of that, with me doing the majority of traveling and funding it all. I didn't mind because I'd always done pretty well in my field of work and he didn't make as much. I knew he wasn't always faithful during our times apart, but I always forgave him and tried to be understanding of the distance. Honey, no! Like I said, I was a naive idiot. I'm glad you said it so we didn't have to. Opie, we love you, but you deserve better.
Yeah, that's right.
Shortly after we got married, we bought a flat together, which I paid 80% of the down payment for, but gave him the money directly. Skip ahead, not even 2 years and COVID hits. I lost my job at the time as I had been working in the service industry while trying to get into my field due to the differences in healthcare field regulations is a bit difficult at first. So shortly after that, I was able to get a job where I was working a rotating shift, including very long overnights in a hospital about an hour away.
That's tough. During COVID?
During COVID.
Tough.
The pay was great, the schedule less so, but we were making it work, or so I thought. Turns out he never lost his cheating habits and took my working overnights as a free pass.
I capitalized on opportunities, babe.
Also, during this time, he was working on finishing his degree remotely. He could not handle any of the course, refused to try, and ended up having me do the work and test for him. OP.
Bruh.
Right about the time he got his engineering degree, I found out about the cheating. Pro tip, don't leave your messaging app logged in when you give your wife your laptop to do your coursework. The messages popped up, and so yeah, I read them all, and wow, not only had he been regularly sleeping with a woman he called his one true love and soulmate, he was messaging at least half a dozen others and had accounts on various adult websites and an OnlyFans account he was spending over $100 a month on.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I flipped out. He promised he was sorry, claimed he was stressed over work, courses, and his inability to have kids. Again, because I'm an idiot, I tried to work on things.
No.
OP. Mostly because I didn't have a right to stay in the country until we had been married for 5 years. The green card marriage.
Damn.
We were at year 3. I convinced myself I could suffer through it.
Oh.
And then the abuse started. Oh no. He'd been getting progressively meaner since I moved over and would constantly berate me for stupid things. Meanwhile, I was supporting him, his hobbies, running the household, all of it. When he started getting physical, he claimed he was just so depressed because, get this, he lost out on being with his one true love. This girl that he'd been talking to.
God, stop.
Real gem of a guy.
Seriously.
Damn, this is like a hard situation because like she kind of still needs him. Like it's like it seems
literally
like she can't.
just for the citizenship and the residency,
which like is not a good thing either. Like you shouldn't be with someone just because you want citizenship.
Yeah.
Like the best thing for you to do, OP, would be to leave. But I understand you want the. It's complicated. It is complicated. But I think like she's staying in a situation that's bad for her because she wants a citizen.
It seems like it. Yeah.
That's rough. We moved into separate bedrooms. A year later, he shoved me down the stairs, and I finally realized if I didn't leave, then he'd probably kill me. He was arrested, but then the charges were lowered because he had a crazy story about me threatening him. For the record, he's a 6'3" boxer and I'm all of 5'6". I didn't even bother pursuing charges at that point because it was so low a charge that it wouldn't qualify me for a stay on my visa due to domestic abuse. I moved back to the US, right? Because she's in Scotland.
Right.
It sucked. I got a basic job. I waited. So I mean, OP, good on you for leaving.
Yeah,
You
made the right decision.
You made the right decision.
100%, I think.
I waited, as you have to be separated at least a year in Scotland before you can file for divorce. As soon as I could, I found a lawyer and started the process. He argued a lot over terms of a separation agreement that I only signed under duress, as it was that or leave the country then. Finally got him to agree to buying me out of the flat for half the equity, minus $2K. Crappy, but as I had given him the money for the deposit, mostly in cash, and had no rent, record and I'd signed an agreement, I couldn't do much else. Today, I finally got the valuation of the flat and I was shocked. I had lost $5,000 in value from when we had bought it, when our other identical flats on the same block had gone up between 15 and 25%. I'd redone both bedrooms, painted, replaced the carpet, redone the garden, and there were notes on the valuation state. It said ruined floors, damage to the plaster walls, damage to doors, and garden completely overgrown. Basically, he ruined it.
Oh my God.
All he had to do was sit on it where it was when I left, and it would have been worth at least $25,000 more.
Yeah, because I would say 15 to 20%. That's like a lot for a house.
So he was expecting to get to keep the flat and pay me pennies. Oh, so he ruined it so he wouldn't have to pay her.
Oh my God.
I immediately emailed my lawyer back and told her the deal was off the table. I was going to force the sale of the flat. I had no idea how he was going to buy me out, as he doesn't make much and had a significant nose candy issue from what I'd been told. I knew without a doubt he would not be able to buy a place on his own and would struggle to rent alone, as rent in the area now was quite a bit higher than what the mortgage payment is. He will be out on his butt with just a few $1,000s to his name.
Good.
I will break even after lawyer fees, and I don't care. At my new job that I got a few months ago, I make more than twice what I was in the UK, so about $50,000 more than him. I would rather walk away from the maybe $5,000 I'd get in letting him buy me out, just to make him actually face the consequences of his actions for once. I can save up for a new down payment. He will be out on his butt and likely out of a job when they realize he has no actual knowledge or understanding of what he was hired to do, because I did all his engineering coursework for him.
Literally.
I told a friend about it, and she said I was being a petty asshole and just as bad as him. I talked to his mother, who I still get on with well, and she asked me to reconsider, as she is afraid he will want to move in back with her. He is in his late 30s for what it's worth. I do feel bad for my husband's mom. She's a lovely person and I'd hate to see her suffer, but she can always turn him down, or he can move in with his latest girlfriend of the day. I don't care. Am I the asshole for being so petty? TLDR, I'm throwing away about $5,000 despite my ex-husband, who tried his hardest to ruin my life, just to see him finally suffer for his abusive behavior. So am I the asshole? John, what do you think? I want to know what everyone else thinks, so put your answers in the comments. But John, what are your thoughts?
Resounding answer, absolutely not the a-hole. And round of applause for, giving it to him, sticking it to him. He freaking deserves it.
And it's also not like she's really sticking it to him.
No.
What is really happening is she's like getting the best deal for the house she can.
Yeah.
Because she would lose $5,000 or like basically break even if the house is sold.
Yeah. And it's just like, this guy,
he's over at every
corner.
turn.
Absolute piece of shit. This is very well deserved. She doesn't owe him shit.
Yeah, she doesn't owe him shit. And like, I feel like this is, yes, she wants him to, feel some pain, which is not always the best move.
Yeah.
But the way she's going about revenge is just, I feel like, a normal thing that she should do for her own sake.
100%. Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like petty revenge to me.
Not at all. And like OP said, like for a long time, she was just like, I should have left earlier and all these things. But you know what? Now she is like standing up and be like, no, I am now doing things for myself and not gonna serve someone who's only been shit and abusive to me.
Exactly.
Why?
But I want to know what everyone else thinks. So put your answers in the comments. And also, if you have like a story like this of, being getting revenge on an ex, or any stories from your exes, let us know in the comments or on our subreddit r/okopshow, or literally you can call us right now and pitch us your story and we might interview you on the show. John, what's the number?
That's 440-508-6567. And hold on, wait a second. I'm getting a call right now. Hello? They said we have to get into
the next story.
My dad is homeless after I decided to keep my grandparents' house. Sorry, Dad. They love me more. Am I the a-hole?
You're not the a-hole if you've won your grandparents' love.
You're a winner.
Yeah, you're a winner and an angel. You're grandma's little angel.
My widow baby. Let me pinch those cheeks and give you a house.
Dang.
Spank me with that deed.
Granny?
Step Granny?
Step Granny?
I 30 female, and my father, 64 male, have historically had a rocky relationship. My parents divorced when I was 5, and he married the woman that he cheated on my mother with. I was an only child, and she had 4 kids from a previous marriage. During my childhood years, I spent most of the allocated time dedicated to my father in the divorce with my paternal grandparents.
So like the father just dropped him off at the grandparents?
Yeah, he's like, all right, it's my time on the clock for you. Skirt. All right, get out. Here's your grandparents. Bye. Every 2 weeks and 42 days in the summer, they lived in a different state. Like,
He dropped him off in a different state?
bro,
Father of the Year award.
oh my God. I cherished the time I had with them, and they would always go to bat for me. There was some tension caused early in my dad's new marriage due to my stepmom demanding that my grandparents go to the store one Christmas and get an equal amount of gifts for all of her children. Bruh. Even taking some from me to gift to her youngest.
What?
Wow.
This is where the evil stepmother comes from.
She's rising. She's awoken. I spent many times waiting on my mom's sofa, waiting for my dad to pick me up, and he never did.
Oh.
I would later find out that he was on family vacations with his new family.
Oh.
I could spend all day telling Cinderella stories, but I need to keep focus on this story.
I love that OP knows that this is like an evil stepmother.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
My grandparents picked up on his slack. We spent summers learning how to make baskets, gardening, camping, and various different activities.
This is so cute.
And my grandparents' home was a second home to me. When I was 13, I went to live with my dad after some methodical brainwashing, and then I would rarely see my grandparents. My grandmother would call, and they would ignore it.
Oh.
It would hurt my heart to see on the caller ID, knowing they were just on the other line, but my dad and stepmom would not allow it unless I sat at a table with them on the call.
Oh, because the dad and stepmom are worried that the grandparents are going to say something that makes OP want to live with the grandparents versus them.
Why do you want to have the child there if you
Hate the child.
them?
Yeah. Just control. Control.
Yeah,
I
just
think.
control.
Just
They probably
control.
like, yeah. Oh my God.
Power trip.
Fast forward to summer of my freshman year, we went to visit my dad's side of the family. On the last night, my aunt and uncle who lived next door asked if I could stay the night with my cousins. My stepmom wanted her youngest daughter to be included. My God.
Not everyone has to be friends, yo.
They declined because my stepsister was a thief. Oh my God.
What does that mean? Like that she just like stole everything? Like has she been caught?
A fight ensued in the front yard that night, resulting in physical altercations.
Wow.
My stepmother shoved my 74-year-old pap to the ground.
No.
He had a hip replacement in the 90s and already had a stiff walk.
No.
I was utterly terrified and distraught. As the chaos ensued, I packed my belongings because they said we were leaving. I vowed then that this would be the last straw and I would never forgive them.
Dang.
damn.
OP's. Oh, I feel like OP has like a villain arc going on.
Yeah, for
I
real.
would never forgive them.
Never. We missed their 50th wedding anniversary because my stepmom was still upset over what his family did to her that night. The next spring, my pap had a stroke and it was never the same. The man that helped raise me during his son's shortcomings didn't remember my name, and he passed away in 2014.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Later, I left home when I was 18 to go to college, where I met my husband. He has been my rock and helped me when my dad threw fits in the last few years when he doesn't get his way. My husband has showed me nothing but unconditional love and support and is the father to our child my own father could never muster to be. I go no contact with my dad every couple of years because of his behavior. There's an old saying that time heals all wounds, but I don't believe this to always be true. I maintained a relationship with my mammy, my paternal grandmother, until her death in December. She was the cheeky one who left notes for us to find after her death. This woman never forgot a thing when she felt slighted. That also reflected in her will.
This is when it all comes out.
Time to reckon, Daddy.
The brass tacks.
Woo! I inherit the house that has been deeded to me since 2001.
Wow.
My dad knew they would give it to me, but I honestly thought that he had a chance of fighting me for it. Since 2012, he and my stepmom have been living in an RV that is now starting to fall apart. Ooh, sweet justice.
Baby.
Sweet justice is cooking, baby. It's getting hot. I'm smelling it.
I'm smelling it. Let's add some salt. Let's add some pepper. Let's take a sip.
He is retired military and has no savings. Right after the funeral, he stashed his belongings in closets. I discovered this after I changed the locks and added cameras as I live out of state and wanted security for the home before I sell my house and move into my childhood home.
Oh.
That's cool. I put his stuff and what was owed to him in storage, and my uncle gave him the keys. After learning this, he's been furious. My step siblings keep reaching out to me, telling me I'm heartless for keeping him out of his parents' home.
I mean, it's his house. That's like saying, like, all right, your grandparents sell the house to someone else, and then I show up at this person's house, and it's
Yeah.
like, hey, this is my grandparents' house. Like,
No.
let me stay here. And they're like, we bought this.
Yeah, like, I don't know who you are.
Like,
Bruh. He called crying, and I coldly told him that if they wanted him to have it, they would have left it to him. I also told him that he should have treated his parents better when they were alive. I have the deed in my hands, and there's nothing left for him to do about it. The estate is almost settled, and what land he does get will also have my name on the deed. So I guess maybe he gets some percentage of it, but like OP owns the deed of the house.
Yeah.
I would rather share my childhood home with my daughter and all the whimsical things it has to offer, even if my dad ends up homeless.
Dang. That is the biggest comeuppance we've heard in a while.
That was a sweet, sweet just dessert.
I love how the will just like shows you who treated the grandparents well and who didn't.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like the will is really revealing in that way.
100%. And like OP's dad had so many chances, like 20
So
years.
many chances, 20 years
Plus,
of chances,
shit,
and didn't.
30.
Yeah.
OP's 30 years old.
Yeah.
He had all this time to try and rectify, to be a better father, to reconnect
Kept
with his
making
parents.
the wrong choices.
Kept making the wrong choices.
Yeah. But you know what's always the right choice?
What is, Sam?
Submitting your story to r/OKOP show, or you can literally call us right now. John, what's the number?
440-508-6567. Drop us a title. Give us all those juicy details. You know how we like our stories.
And we might call you back. So if you like submit this story, we might call you back and interview you on the show. So definitely submit it to us. And you know what else we're going to do?
What?
We're going to get into this next story.
Boom.
I just found out that my girlfriend lives on the streets. I want to say something, but I don't want to embarrass her. What should I do?
You got to stand in solidarity.
Yeah, get out in the streets as
Evict
well.
yourself.
TLDR, saw my girlfriend standing outside of a homeless shelter in a food. We've been dating for a couple of months, and I want to offer her to stay at my apartment, but I don't want to completely dominate the power balance in our relationship or make her feel like she owes me. Okay, so here's the details.
Okay.
Yesterday morning, I went out to go for a walk around the city and noticed a girl that looked familiar standing in a line at a homeless shelter. I took a double glance and saw a hoodie that was mine, and then recognized my girlfriend, Kat. I was pretty shocked by seeing her there, but I didn't approach her because I didn't want to embarrass her or anything. So, for background info, I met Kat in February at Dunkin' Donuts. Started making small talk with her when I saw we were both wearing the same Dodgers hat. I offered to pay for her drink after shooting the shit for a minute in line, and got to know her when she asked if I wanted to sit down with her. As we were finishing up our drink, I asked her out on a date, and she accepted. As the last couple of months went by, things were going great with us. I learned that she's working 2 jobs, wanted to go to college, was a devout Catholic. She invited me to attend mass. I'm not Catholic, but went out of respect. Yet I noticed that she never brought up her family except when she mentioned her dad, who was a Marine that passed away when she was a kid. Fast forward to the present. And I ended up sending a good morning text inside the Dunkins as I was looking to see if it was really her. Like clockwork, she pulled out her phone and told me she was at her apartment and that she was cooking breakfast.
Oh.
It was really surprising for me because I always dropped her off at a nice apartment building whenever a date was over, but I guess she did that to give off the appearance that she wasn't homeless.
Man.
Now, I want to talk to Kat about her situation. She's kind of a social introvert, to put it lightly. If she was truly homeless, I want to offer Kat to stay at my place. The only problem is that I don't want to come off like she owes me anything. I also want to respect her Catholic faith because she told me she wants to wait to give up her virginity after I originally invited her over to my place before I knew she was homeless. The Catholics aren't fond of unmarried cohabitation either. Thoughts on how I can navigate this? There is an edit, but
Right.
so far, what do you think? Like, basically, OP is asking, like,
Yeah.
I think I should bring this up to her. How do I talk to her about her being homeless?
Totally. Yeah. I think, and obviously like it's so sad because it's, I could see how she could be embarrassed and things like that.
And
But
it seems like OP's actually like going about it the right way.
I think OP has a really good head on his shoulders. I think you basically say everything you shared here where you're like, hey, I would be happy to, have you live with me, but I don't want this to affect the power dynamic. Yeah, I think basically just saying that.
I forgot to mention that Kat has an older sedan. I know that I'm making a lot of assumptions, but I'm guessing that she lives inside her car because she doesn't carry a backpack around all the time, and she wears a nice dress and flats when she goes to mass. The other clothing she wears is sort of casual, like your typical Convert, skinny jeans, overcoat, nothing too fancy or too dingy. Update though. So I ended up meeting Kat at a local park we usually walk through after she got off work earlier today, since it's out in the open, yet still private enough to have a serious conversation. He's very thoughtful about all these.
I like it.
All these things. He's
I like
very
it a lot.
thoughtful. I told Kat that I didn't want her to feel uncomfortable or ashamed, but that I saw her in line at a homeless shelter yesterday and wanted to talk to her if there was anything up or if she needed help. I think that's a great opener.
I think so.
Kat immediately began to cry and showed her nervous tics, fidgeting around, wrinkling her nose, etc. She began stuttering on her words, and I consoled her until she began to gather herself again. I told Kat that she didn't have to feel like she had to hide anything from me, and she began to open up about everything. Kat told me that she had been homeless for over a year. She grew up in a broken home after her dad passed away in Iraq when she was a kid back in 2006. Her mother fell into alcoholism and had pretty much blown whatever savings she had from the death gratuity she received and basically lived paycheck to paycheck. Despite this, her faith with the church was the only real thing that gave her stability and hope to carry on with her daily life. At 18, she joined the Marines because she wanted to honor her father and escape the life she had grown up with.
Wow.
Although she ended up getting ELS, entry-level separation, and was chaptered out of the USMC, United States Marine Corps, I guess, due to her developing asthma while in basic, she ended up moving to her current city on the East Coast because she didn't want to return to California where her mother was. Kat ended up barely scraping by to where she saved up to buy her older car to sleep in away from the shelters around December of last year. Kat ended up sharing to me that she was on the verge of unaliving around the time I met her and wanted to play up like she didn't have baggage, and elaborated on how she didn't want to scare me off by admitting she was homeless, which I mean, like, makes sense.
Yeah, I could see like it's a hard thing, and it seems like she's just so sweet at trying to get it on her own, and she's like I don't want to depend on you or make you think anything like that.
So she had me drop her off at the one apartment building and split the tab on our dates to appear like everything was normal.
Oh, man.
Truthfully, I felt gutted hearing her story. I had a feeling that things were probably bad for her, but I didn't think it was that bad. Kat showed me her DD-214. I'm currently an E5 in the Army Reserve, so I knew that her story was verifiable, as well as the picture she had of her past. I told her I wanted to help her out in any way and that I was open to having her move into my place, with the added kicker that we could go to IKEA to get her a bed set to make my living room into her living space, since I wanted to respect her physical boundaries that were in place from her Catholic faith.
What a
guy.
king.
Yeah.
You are
Absolute
a king, OP.
king, OP.
Come on. Is this an r/OKOP show?
No.
Dang it.
Kat was very hesitant because of her pride, and she didn't want to come off like she was accepting a handout due to pity, but I reassured her that it wasn't a handout or would come with a catch. I told Kat that I loved her. First time I said that. And I wanted to help her feel secure. She looked at me with sort of disbelief and asked me if I really meant it. And I did. Kat reciprocated by saying that she loved me and accepted the conditions. As far as the conditions go, I told her to meet me at 30% of the rent and put whatever money she had into starting summer classes at the local community college, and that she could stay with me for as long as she wanted if she felt comfortable with premarital cohabitation. A last thanks for advice on everything. Our convo was a long one and took a lot emotionally from Kat, so she is currently crashing at my couch until she wakes up so we can get her bed at IKEA later tonight. Once again, thank you for giving advice, as it really allowed me to vent on what was going on.
Oh, hold on. Round of applause, man. That's a happy ending
Wow.
we love to
what
see.
A guy.
What
OP.
a freaking guy.
Freaking MVP. And like, I love how he's like, he doesn't necessarily share her like religious beliefs, but is still super respectful of all of that.
We stand a respectful king over here on this podcast.
And like even the small detail of like, I took her to a park, so it was in a public space, but like it could still have a private conversation. Like he's really thinking like what would make her comfortable, which is
chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. So OP, I feel like you handled it perfectly.
Yeah, I
no
notes.
I have
no notes over here. But you know where you can send more than just a note and maybe a whole ass story.
Where can you send it, John?
To our new call-in line, ladies and gentlemen. We are taking your stories at 440-508-6567. Drop us your hottest, juiciest stories. You know how we like them. And you could go to the usual suspects too, r/OKOP right here in these YouTube comments. But we're really looking forward to hearing from your calls. We want to invite some of y'all on the show.
Yeah, like literally interview you and interrogate you about your stories.
That's right. So if you want to get interrogated, give our line a call. That's 440-508-6567. We love you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Make sure you leave a message.
Leave it.
Peace.
Peace.